multi-million-dollar entrepreneur and renowned health and fitness superstar, Forbes Riley, a familiar face from TV, as well as one of today's most sought-after female motivational speakers today. You'll connect with some of the top experts in health and fitness, business and personal development, as well as some surprise celebrities, all sharing their insight, tips, and tricks to finding true happiness. Now, here's your host, Forbes Riley.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to the Forbes Factor. It's one of my favorite hours of the week, and I'm so glad that you are listening to me. We have a very, very special broadcast today. I love the notion of speaking in public, which is ironic because I believe it's up on the top 5 things that people are scared of, like death, spiders, snakes, and public speaking. Luckily, I don't like snakes, spiders, or death, but I'm really good at the public speaking thing. And I love it so much that I sought to teach it. And I teach a training called Forbes Riley's speakercertification.com, little plug there, because it's a phenomenal training. And I'm going to share with you that while I love doing this, I love teaching it as well. I think sharing this is one of my favorite things of all time. And I've been doing that. And today, on today's broadcast, you're going to get to meet some of the winners. We did a little bit of a speaker summit, and the best of the best I've invited to be my special guest today on this broadcast. And thank you so much for joining us. And so before we dive into that, I just want to share a little bit of what's been going on for me. And if you're listening to this live, it's kind of a unique time in my life. And one of the things that's happened because of this is I was in a very bad vehicle accident about 3 months ago. Survived, walked away from it, torn shoulder, but I have my face in my head, which might not have happened based on the severity of the accident. And I walked away with a renewed sense of how important and urgent life is. That tends to happen. People will talk about before and after an accident. I can remember my father when he slipped and caught his hand in a printing press and spent 3 years in the hospital when I was a kid in high school. Life was different before that one moment. And the problem with an accident is it happens in the blink of an eye, but the ramifications last a lifetime. And I'm just going to highlight that. My beautiful husband, Joshua, his dad was coming home from something when he was age 2 and never made it home. He died in a car accident. Joshua was 2. His mom then married later on his dad's brother, which was fascinating. They were in a small town and she loved him and he wanted to take care of the kids. And when Joshua was 15, he was hit by a semi-truck coming home again, and Joshua lost his second father. It happens in the blink of an eye, but the ramifications last forever. I just got off the phone with a dear friend of mine who just fell off a ladder and broke his back in 3 places. Just a second of you not focusing. You know, you're reading or you're texting and you turn into somebody's car. That's all it has to be. My Josh was in an accident, and you remember these moments, January 2nd, 2020. He was on a motorcycle accident when the kid who didn't notice him ran right over him. And he will never walk the same way because of that. And I was in this vehicle accident. And luckily, the injuries are only mental. They're in my head. I walked away physically pretty cool. But what snapped, and you don't want a bus to fall on you or a motorcycle or a car to hit you. Let's wake up right now. So if you're listening to this broadcast, I'm going to tell you that it's time to wake up. And I'm really serious about that because I think some of you are just walking zombies. You're just going through life. Every day is similar. And the next thing you know, it's Christmas, then it's summer, and it's Christmas again. What happened? If you decide to set mile markers and goals in your life and things that you achieve or don't achieve, I promise your life is more fulfilling. I can literally tell you all the crazy stuff that I've achieved, good mile markers, and the things I'm looking forward to. Well, after the accident, a funny thing happened to me. I think bodybuilding is one of the most ridiculous sports ever. My husband is a world champion, award-winning bodybuilder. Looks great. I watch what he eats. I watch how he works out, 2 hours in the gym. He sleeps a lot. I never had any desire to do any of that because I thought it was kind of silly. Careful what you wish for. So one day he says to me, you know, there's a bodybuilding competition in our hometown in St. Pete. Now, normally we have to travel to Vegas or Mexico, wherever we've been to compete, but it's literally down the street. And then he says, and there's a category for women over 60 in bikinis. Like, I don't think women in bikini, we should be over 60, but that's just me. That was my first initial reaction. And then I turned 64. I'm like, I haven't worn a bikini since well before I was pregnant. I don't know that I ever wore a bikini. I always had a little belly. I didn't have a bikini body. I wore a one piece and a cover up. My mother wore a woo moo moo. And we're very happy in our ignorance. And so what do you do after a bus hits you? You're like, I think I should put on high heels and enter a bikini competition. I know. I don't know why I said it either. And then I have a knack for, if you tell me I can't do something, that's what I'm going to go do next. I think it's the stupidest motivation ever, but it seems to work for me. My fitness company, Spin Gym, happened because someone told me that I couldn't do it. And 3 years later, I had a multi-million-dollar company. 3 years later. But I had enough energy to prove them wrong. It was the kind of the hashtag watch me. And all of a sudden I had this hashtag watch me. Now I was in January, he and I went to get our body scans. I went just for my health. He went to find out that beautiful body has only 9% body fat, and that was his off season. Well, screw you, 9%. I have 9% in my arm. My body fat was 33%, and I weighed more than I've ever weighed not being pregnant. And I was kind of okay with that because everyone will tell you it's okay. You're 60, who cares, right? I mean, how fit do you have to be? And I looked at that number and it kind of bothered me. And then my doctor says, you're pre-diabetic. And I'm like, well, that sucks. I'm a fitness expert. How could I be pre-diabetic? So, well, it's not really the food you eat, but you could do better, but your level of stress, blah, 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 blah. So I said I should enter this competition. And then I laughed. And I'm not sure what I was thinking, but I had a feeling when I told Joshua, and he was like, yeah, you could do it. I didn't think he thought I could do it. And then I was in the gym one day and I thought, well, I love him very much, but he's not better than me. If he can do this and build muscle, why can't I? Careful what you wish for. So I said, today's day one. I'm going to enter your competition. Now, by the way, I didn't actually buy the competition thing. I was kind of hedging my bet for the first couple of weeks. And I went on Instagram, and if you go back to my Instagram on Forbes Riley, you'll see day 1, day 2, day 10. By day 20, I'm still going every day to the gym. I'm eating super high protein, very clean. I haven't had a bite of sugar in 68 days now, if you're watching this live, 68 days. And the competition is about 4.5 weeks from now. And then I was stupid enough to start telling people what I was doing. Well, that follows my formula. You want to get something done, tell somebody else you're going to do it, whether they believe you or not. But now you've made a declaration. You put your little stake in the sand, right? All right. So I said, I'm going to enter a bikini competition. And everyone was like, oh, good for you. You know what that had me do? Was that every time I put something in my mouth, I said, well, if you're going to enter a bikini competition. And I was literally the most I'd ever weighed. So on day 35 or so, I go to my doctor to get another scan. I'm down about 12 pounds and 9% body fat. That was about 2 weeks ago. I've now lost over 15 pounds. I haven't gotten the actual weight, but everything in my closet fits again. Clothes I had from high school that I saved, everything fits again. And I took a picture and I posted it on my Instagram. I took a before photo. By the way, I did it in my own bathroom and I did not look good. There was a moment when I looked at myself, my before photo, and my reaction was, you look like an old lady. Your thighs are saggy, your underarms are saggy. And I guess if you continue to cover it up, nobody will notice except your husband. And he's really nice to you because he's never said anything negative whatsoever to me. He simply tells me he loves me the way I am and I believe him. Then I looked at my own body and thought, ew, what'd you do? Why did you stop? What, do you not care? And I had this huge come to Jesus moment where I sat down going, is that good enough for you? And it turns out it wasn't. Now, I'm not telling you that you need to do anything. Oh, no, yeah, you do. You need to be healthy. You need not to be on the spectrum about diabetes because that will kill you. You need to be happy. You need to have a heart scan. And I hate telling people what they need, but you do. What are you waiting for? Because when you have that heart attack or you pass away, like I've lost friends in their 40s and 50s lately, you could have done something about it. Whoa. And then the craziest thing happened to me as I'm losing weight, and I am now a number that's thinner than I was when I was in high school. Oh my God. Oh my God, really? And I'm not suffering. I'm eating food. I'm having a great time. I am going to the gym. I'm making time for it. I have a goal. I got the high heel hooker shoes. I don't walk that well in high heel shoes anymore, but you know what? I'm doing it and I'm having some fun doing it. And as far as I'm concerned, I just put an after photo. There's literally before and after photo on my Instagram. I just won the competition. I don't care what we do on stage. I did it. I devoted, and I did. I was like, I'm so beautifully proud of myself. And then something else happened. All of these memories that apparently I stored in my body, and if you're a little overweight, You might want to think about this. Maybe you can relate. And then I will get to our guests in just a minute. But all of a sudden, this stuff started coming up for me. And I started letting some of it go that's not mine to hold on to any longer. And I will tell you, if you're emotionally lighter, you might end up physically lighter. That's my thought for the day. I know, it's been crazy. All right, I want you to meet some very special friends of mine. I've got 5 of them in the audience. I'm going to bring them all up to stage. Each one is a beautiful entrepreneur who I've had the pleasure to meet because I now teach and I taught the speaker training, and they all came to it with a certain energy. But all of them, when they gave their speech, got rousing rounds of applause. Please welcome Aaron O'Dowd, all the way from Ireland via Spain, Christy Hunter way out there in Utah, Jacqueline Lucian, Rada Angelo, who's way down in Australia, but that's not where she's from either, and Lise Robinson from a very strange country called Canada. So let's just start with your reaction to what I just said. Christy, what are you thinking based on what I just said?
There's so much in the levels of breakthrough that have completely transformed my life since November when I had breakthrough with you, and the memories and I just was lucky enough to be in the breakthrough you did today. And it's so true, like setting goals. Like I, for 15 years, wanted to be a concert keynote speaker. And because of Forbes Riley's training, speaker training, because of breakthrough, on May 18th, I took the stage and I was a keynote speaker, and I sang 3 of my original songs and spoke for 40 minutes. And now I have video footage, and now I'm going to apply to speak on more stages. And I'm living a dream because I finally got brave, and I finally decided no one was going to do it for me. No one was coming. And Forbes is the one who told me that. And I'm so grateful that not only did she tell me that, but then she put together this amazing training so I could spend the next 12 weeks learning how to become that confident person. So when I took that stage, my entire audience thought I'd been doing it for years.
Yes, yes. Lise Robinson, share your initial thoughts with me.
I met you about 1.5 years ago, and I was going through a lot of pain at that time. I've lost now 5 family members, my parents and 3 of my brothers, and it really shifted my entire life. I'm a social worker of 30 years, and how this has shifted for me, it doesn't happen to me, it happens for me. As a result of all the pain that I was going through, I wanted to look for a holistic means of healing my pain, creating and finding my voice. Forbes Riley has helped me to find my voice, put my words into the mainstream stage so that I can make my message matter to the many people, especially when we went through COVID and loss. And it's like peeling a lot of different onions and getting to that core of that issue. So relating about loss and how to rebuild ourselves and to re-empower ourselves with the tools and skills we need in order to move ourselves forward. You've created a community of light workers that are making a difference in the world, whatever the problems are. Forbes has crafted and created a community of light workers that are taking people to the next level of their lives. And for myself, I feel that breaking through my own pain and breaking through those barriers, especially the emotional entrapments that keep us a prisoner of our own lives, has broken free. Because I feel that other people need me globally, and transitioning using my skills from social work to creating a holistic program. Because what I found out there when I went to see a therapist, here's a book, read it, go home and heal. The doctor wanted to give me pills and say, go home and heal, deal with these antidepressants. All of this was just kind of like masking the pain. So breaking through my own pain, I feel lighter, I feel more emotionally jubilant, and I can laugh once again. And when we have that laughter in our lives, once again, we can live optimally. And that's the entire goal about what we're here in the dash of life. So I want to thank Forbes and the community who are speakers, but influencers of change. And I really appreciate all that you do in forging that way forward as a woman entrepreneur, leading the way from the feminine presence.
Love, love, love it. And you and I will tell you my greatest joy right now is how eloquently they're all putting their thoughts together. Aaron O'Dowd, as the gentleman among this, share your thoughts, will you?
1 2 1 2. Can you hear me?
We hear you beautifully, my friend.
Fantastic. You know, I love this community in Forbes, but I spent my whole life, my fists up, trying to prove and show that a guy with a disability, with a vision impairment, had to show that the leader who hit my fist off my chest to show I can do this, I can be this. But actually, I took the hits, the pain, and put them down inside me. And today in Forbes Riley's breakthrough, I actually got to understand why I have food problems and different problems, but it all streamed back to the hits I was taking, the icons and the punches that the body just can no longer take. And today is peaceful and component of freedom. So thank you, Forbes.
I will just layer on what Aaron just shared with all of us. Today, for everyone in this room, was a very special day. Not only do I teach a speaker training, which I am just overjoyed about. I took all the things that I have learned over my 5 decades of being an actress and a performer and put them into a training, which we all went through. But beyond that, I have been compelled and called to do a healing, a breakthrough healing. And so today is a very special day. I think we were all in that room. And oh my God, the sense of lightness and joy when you break through, and Aaron, when you break through the things that are holding you back, every one of you listening to me right now has had some impact in your life that's negatively affected you. Could be a name someone called you on the way home, doesn't matter, that you internalized and maybe ate over, got frustrated over, choose the wrong partner over, didn't succeed at work, sabotage, procrastinate, all of those iterations of who you are now. I'm going to share with you, if you go back to some root cause of this and suss it out, you feel different. You totally freaking feel different, don't you, Miss Jacqueline Lucien?
Yes, that's true. And what I recognized, the thing that's so important here is I've always had dreams of manifesting and doing things. And I was often doing it by myself because nobody understood me. So many of the pains that I had with breakthrough, I see that they are a gift because they kept me searching. And one of the main things for searching is that you have to have discernment, because there's a lot of experts out here. There's a lot of leaders here. But when you have good discernment, then you know the best. And when you find the best can take you to the next level. And that's what happened to me. And what I recognize is that we all have gifts and we all have stories, and we try to tell our stories. But what Forbes does, she teaches you how to heal yourself, because what's more important is a storyteller.
Ooh, you guys, if you're listening to this, you are so privy to something fantastic. Like I said, we just all left this training minutes before we started this live broadcast. I really invited these 5 amazing people on because they were the most outstanding speakers about what they were doing. But I'm loving the elevation of the energy. Renata, all the way down from Australia, will you pop up here and share with me your thoughts, your feelings, and how all this is going for you?
Thank you so much for the invitation, Forbes. And I love what you said at the beginning of this talk show today, that the life is different before and after accident, and that sometimes we need the wake-up call. And it's so important that we wake up before the life wakes us up. So if we wake up, we are conscious, we work on all the challenges that we have, then they don't need to intensify. I know how it feels as well as someone who was run over by a car. I lost the ability to walk. I was on a wheelchair, learned to walk again, but ended up with the chronic back pains 24/7. And I realized that our biggest challenges are usually our biggest opportunities, because that was the moment when I connected to my soul, when the Western medicine told me that I have to learn to live with the pain for the rest of my life. And you teach it in your breakthroughs, how we can get out of the pain emotionally, not only physically, but once we get out emotionally, the physical can heal as well, because we give the opportunity to the body to self-heal. And that's the connection. Once we connect to the source, to the creator, universe, whichever way you want to call it, that's when we can heal our emotions, our bodies. And it's my great honor to be here with you today. And if you're listening to this radio show, you are in the right place, in the right time, my friend. And it's the time of your life when you're going to shine. So thank you for the invitation.
You know, I just love that. Here's how I perceive life pre doing all of this training, kind of pre-COVID, post-COVID, is that I envisioned a world that I wanted. I just wasn't quite sure how to get there. So if you let the how go and just really envision and manifest it, I manifested people in my life, like the 5 people that are here today, like the entire community of almost 28,000 people that we have who've gone through our training since COVID happened. It's been a very interesting time, and I'm only continuing to expand it. I just think this is just so brilliant. And thank you all. Thank you for believing in me and the mission. And I'm also going to share, if you're listening to this program today, that the me that you're meeting now is not the me that was as short ago as a couple of years ago. The evolution of all of us, I've watched you guys in the last couple of months evolve. It's spectacular. The people that you're meeting today, the openness, the eloquence that you hear was not there when I met them. I could see some of that, but it wasn't as so readily available. And so whether it's with me or someone else, I'm going to urge you, if you're listening, you must be drawn to what I talk about. That one, to break through your emotions, things that are holding you back. If you're a procrastinator, if you sabotage your things, if you just know that you were meant for more, but you're not getting there, it's not therapy. It's a word called breakthrough. If you sometimes need to break down before you break through. I've been dealing with this since I was 31 years old and evolving it. And whether it's mine or someone else, I'm not the only one who's discovered this, but I'm going to urge you to invest some time, energy, and resources into breaking through the bullshit that's holding you back. The second thing is speaker training. I believe, as Christy is experiencing, as many of you, Rada is a world-renowned speaker. Lisa's on stages now, so is Jacqueline and Aaron. The world needs to know your message. And one of the things that we've all really concluded and come to embody is that the worst part of your story is the best part of your speech, of your pitch, of your communication, because you've been whispered by God or the universe that the pain that you went through is symbolic of the pain so many people go through, but they don't have your courage or your opportunity or your drive. The biggest shame for you is to not listen to what you're being called to do. Stop playing small. Christy, how does that resonate with you?
It resonates a lot because my story that I've dived into is my 10 years of infertility, adopting a son who has, at 5 years old, who was a heroin baby and had reactive attachment disorder, and dealing with a triangulation between my husband and him, and a lot of years of struggle, to the point my son got arrested at 15, and me feeling like, what was the point of all of this? To realize that the point was, I remember yelling at God and just being like, I wanted to be a mom for so long. You finally bring me this little boy. I go through all 10 years and then now he's in jail like his bio parents. What was the point? And this voice said to me, I didn't give him to you to fix. I gave him to you to love.
Wow.
And it changed everything. Because I realized in that moment, I can't fix anyone else. I can't fix my son. I couldn't fix the relationship between him and his dad. I couldn't change the things that had happened to him. But what I could do is love him exactly where he was. I could love him if he was in jail. I could love him if he was out of jail. I could love my husband. I could love myself. And with that, I started to build relationships that I never knew existed. And that completely changed my life. And that message, I know God has called me to share with other people through my songs.
Wow. Jacqueline, you were called to share a message too.
Yes. And it took me a long time to get it straight. And that's what I was alluding to in the beginning, that we have to find someone to help us to bring out our gift. One of my worst pains that affects my whole race, I didn't want to deal with. And it's just a name, a word. And we know words are powerful. But by being called a name and me not knowing what it wants.
Well, hang on. You got to clarify a little bit, because on radio, people don't know. You sound like any race out there. Is there a particular race that you identify with?
I'm a Black person, a melanated person.
Oh, screw it. You're a woman, dad damn it. You're a woman. That's my issue. And the word that you're referring to is?
Word Negro, that ended up being so weaponized, it ended up being one letter, the N word. And that was my greatest gift, because it helped me decode the rest of the alphabet.
Because that's been, and explain to people just a little bit of that journey, what that means.
What it means is that people abuse words, they weaponize words, and we don't know how to defend against them. And it affects our self-esteem, because the names are important. And when you don't like your name and your name is used to hurt you, what else can you do? You're fighting almost like against windmills.
You know, it's funny about that, because I used to say there's so much power in words that people don't understand. Because if I called you a nasty asparagus, you'd go, what? You'd like laugh at me. But if I called you the N word, you'd get all offended. Well, you've actually spent a lifetime figuring out that there's energy behind letters and words that make them up, that really do have an energy to them, correct?
Yes.
Fascinating to me, the journey that you're on. And also what I love about your training with me is that when I met you, I didn't understand the mission. And now I do. I really get it, and I get the value of this. Aaron, talk to me.
My pain and my story revolved around being diagnosed with retina pigmentosa at the age of 7. And sitting in the ophthalmologist's office and saying, you'll probably be blind by your 20s. You know, a young man furious at the world, wanted to see and thought I could see. And over the space of 25 years, I've been gradually losing my vision for about 20 or 30% vision. And I'll probably gradually lose it in the next 20 to 30 years. But my mom would buy me Game Boys, video games, sports, to hide the pain. The pain was gradually losing the things I loved. But actually, I made things possible that were impossible. I've rowing records, I've ran triathlons, I run a podcast, I'm motivational. And I don't know how to explain how I navigate this world, but I do navigate it in a way where I ask for help. And in doing this course, that has been a huge and light bulb moment, is that I am an inspiration, empowerment, and a juggernaut. And the gift I have is to share the pain and the journey that, hey, if you can't see, can't do, so what? Just make it happen, and you can do that.
Do you guys hear the vast, beautiful fabric, the tapestry that I have been privy to just because I offered a speaker training? And then Lise comes on with something that we all want to deal with, but we don't want to deal with. And that would be the question of death.
Death is part of life, and it's how we interpret it. A lot of us are not given the tools and the skills to deal with life-ending moments, or what happens between the dash is living, and then people do die. Losing my family, as well as my son's father when in 2010 in a fire, tragic fire, was absolutely devastating. Losing the loss, my sons, watching them suffer and going through all those periods and understanding that the circle of life is all going to happen to us. And how do we navigate and chart through the darkness? Bringing light when we're going through the memorializing of our loved ones had given me such reprieve from my pain. And that was to create a legacy book that connected the past, the present, and the future together. My mom's story will always be told, but now we have a book with so many assets of her life in each story of her children, because each child was able to put those stories together in a compilation of pictures that will go on as an heirloom for the next generations to come. So legacy is so important, because when we lose each other, we lose not only the knowledge, but the gifts that they left behind. And that's what I have on my screen here. We go from the darkness to light. And that is very evident of what I propose to do to many people around the world that are suffering. Because my ancestors, they're all on the other side. I believe that death is light. They become stars and navigate from there. Their energy's just as strong as they were living. So we just have to tap into that love, eternal love, because it is the great gateway to healing.
Yeah, Renata, I'm going to pass the mic to you.
Thank you so much. And Liz, exactly what you said. The love is the answer to all the questions that we have. And we don't need to solve the problems and challenges on our own. As long as we are able to ask for help and either join the communities like your community, Forbes. It's, if anyone here is not in part of your world, I would say it's compulsory, guys. Okay. So just join, figure out a way how. Okay. And you can get help from the community, or you can get also ask for the help from the source, as Christy said. We don't have to do it alone. As someone who was brought up in Prague, Czech Republic, former communist country, the word God we didn't even use, because everything was about science. So for me, I always turn to a science when I try to find solution to a problem. But when I start realizing that there is a higher power, when I connect it and ask for it, I've got the answer. And once we follow the answers that our intuition gives us, that the God gives us, and we take action based on the intuition and inspiration, because we are in contact with our spirit, then the miracles happens. That's when the self-healing happens. So it's really stop looking for the answers outside of us, but turn within, connect to that light, and then we can shine like the stars and we become the light for the others as well.
Wow, I am so on a high from all of the conversation. Kind of looking towards the future and people who have not seen all of this. Christy, what would you say to somebody who's not living their dream? Because I think a lot of people who are drawn to my podcast and my radio show are entrepreneurs or dreamers who just want that next level up. So what would you say to somebody?
Start today. If you have anything that you dreamed, even if you were a high schooler or an elementary kid, and once you said, someday I want to be a singer, or someday I want to be a writer, or I want to write this book. If you've ever said anything like that, decide today that it doesn't have to be a dream. It gets to be real, because every day you can make a goal, a small goal. And if you step forward, you'll get to do it. And the second thing is join a community, find a group. It can be for sure Forbes group. I would recommend Forbes Inner Circle any day, because the people there will build you up. And I've published 9 songs this year. And every time I put out a new song, all of these people in there are just like, they're listening to it and they're telling me they're great. That means so much to me because I'm not publishing songs because I want to be a millionaire. I'm publishing songs because they're my soul. And that
So wait, while you're getting all emotional there, will you sing something that you think everybody should hear? I love my Spin Gym song, but feel free to sing something for us.
Ah, you got me. Well, I have a funny one. I have a funny song that I'm coming up with right now. It's a country song. And it is, my mom used to say the phrase, don't get too big for your britches. I don't know if you've ever heard that as a kid. Don't get too big for your britches. So now I'm writing a country song called I Got Expandable Britches. They can grow as big as they want. I'll live my life in all my dreams. And you don't get to say I can't. I don't remember those part of the words. And then it goes, you got expandable britches. And it's going to be so funny. And the best part of it is, as I did this breakthrough, I've been working with a breakthrough coach and doing stuff. And she said, well, what are you going to do with these small britches? Because I decided I had expandable britches. And I said, I'm going to turn them into a song. So I'm still in the process of writing expandable britches. But I'll tell you, it's going to be one of my favorites because I'm always going to realize nothing can stop me anymore. Nothing.
And when we first met Christy, that was not the case. Christy, at some point, you may have to help my team do a case study on you because you're just such a classic person who comes into my world who thought they had it figured out and was very happy being unhappy and could fight me and tell me why they were unhappy because this happened and that happened and this happened and damn it, that's just how I am. And I hear this just enough in my life to go, well, just hang tight because everything's about to shift. And then you did, as if by a miracle, you shifted into this light version of you who is once again creating songs and living the possibility. And it's just so inspiring to be around. I'm going to let you pass the mic to somebody else that you want to hear from next.
I would love to hear some more from Aaron about his current goals that he's working on, because I'm always inspired by all the things he's doing.
Thanks, Chrissy. I've got a lot of goals and got a huge bucket list. One is to create a documentary about the empowerment that disability brings, and to crush that concept of disability more of an ability, and to showcase the geniuses that they are, where we go from survive to thrive to success. I'm running triathlons. I want to go back to national racing in Ireland, which I haven't raced in 3 years. I'm currently building in the gym and looking forward to racing. I want to podcast and interview the creme de la creme, the up and coming, to show that we all are inspiring, we're all empowering, and we all have a mission and a story, because we all need to be heard, because our light bright is so shiny that the diamond needs to sparkle through us. And there's more and more and more on the bucket list. And I'm excited because when I joined Forbes Riley's community back in September of last year, I was a mess, didn't know what I wanted to do, didn't know branding and speaker training. And now I'm speaking on stages, on podcasts, and I found that spark in me to roll up my sleeves, be in the trenches and get dirty and make that elbow grease become something amazing and shiny.
I think there's a song in what he just said, Kirsty, like really the way the show, yeah, just that was amazing. Aaron, pass the mic. You've got Lise, Renata, and Jacqueline.
I want to hear from Jacqueline.
Well, we're all using words here. And you've all heard the story about the Tower of Babel, where there's so much confusion. So there's still so much confusion in the world because people are manipulating words. So my mission is to get us to look at words at a deeper level, master them, because they're the basis of language. So when you master your words, you master your life.
Ooh, I'm loving this. Pass the mic.
Lise.
Well, I adopted a word this year, and it is brilliance. The word brilliance, because I am shining my light as bright as I can, so my ancestors can see me from above doing this beautiful work. And I know that the rippling effect, spiritual and interconnections throughout the world, that we can make a difference, united, and as we go forward into the next evolution of our lives. And I pass the mic back on to
Renata.
Renata.
Thank you so much, Liz. It's so beautiful to listen to all of you guys. And I'm really grateful and privileged from that. And I want to say to everyone that we don't need to do it alone, that there is a power in the community, and there is a power to get a coach or someone who walked the journey before you, because they'll give you the guidance. And it doesn't matter if you want to get in the shape, you know, into the bikini like Forbes and my head down to you because you look amazing, you know, or if you want to become international speaker, if you want to make your dreams come true, get someone who have been there where you want to go and ask for the guidance. This is what I do for everyone who comes to my community as well, because being a coach who shows the way how to unlock the potential, we can get to the goals faster. You can get the shortcuts. You know if to go right or left, when to stop, when just to go full force ahead. And doing it with a coach, doing it with a trainer, it's always easier. It will get you there faster, and you can turn your dreams into reality fast. You can firewalk, you can do anything. So yeah, let's do it together, and we can make this world a better place.
I love that. All right, so we have just about 3 minutes left. If you would share your hope and your vision for the world. Christy, you're up first.
I am so grateful for music, and I run a company called The Vocal Connection because I want to help people own their voice. And through Breakthrough, I'm in the process of Breakthrough certification, so I can help people not only break through their limiting beliefs, so that's stopping them, but then use music to take their voice to the next level so they can speak and sing and do all the things they want to do. I want to emulate everything Forbes has taught me and help as many people as I can.
Love that. 20 seconds quickly. Jacqueline, you're up.
I want everybody to recognize one of the most powerful forces in the universe is the sun. Without the sun, there would not be any sunshine. So I want everyone to recognize the sun and the sunshine in themselves, and that's the letter R.
Love that. Lise, over to you. 30 seconds.
For myself, it's all about belief. You can heal, and you can shine your brightest light and make a difference.
I love that. Renata.
My vision for the world is to connect to that light, to become the best version of yourself, because you have abilities that are far beyond your wildest dreams and expectations. So
Aaron,
connect to them, get on that quantum journey.
All right, we're live. Aaron, you've got 20 seconds. Go.
I want to create a company in the world where disability is not as taboo as anyone else, where we're just normal as everyone else, where you just have the ability to be who you want to be.
Well, let's call it different ability, as we all have different abilities and nothing should be a diss. You guys, I want to thank all of you so much for being part of my world. Guys, you listen to the Forbes Factor. We focus on health, wealth, and happiness. Today with all my friends here, from my heart and my family to yours, go out there and make it a good one. Do something that absolutely challenges you. You don't have to wear a bikini and high heels, or maybe you do. I'll see you guys again next time. Bye-bye, everybody. Mwah!
Thank you.
All clear. Great show.
Hi, everyone.
Oh my goodness, I got to jump to 3 o'clock. I didn't know I was going to be ping-ponging. Thank you guys so
Hope you
much.
all have a great rest of your day.